reading vlog this week. You know, it'd be really cool if I could find the book that I wanted to read. That would be swell. It was on my unread shelf, exactly where it belongs, and I don't know why I didn't think to look there. Hey, welcome to a new week, a new weekly vlog. I'm really proud of myself. It's been 3 weeks. This is the third week that I have actually, wow, I can't focus because Waffle's licking my toes. Okay, so I think this week I want to try to tackle some books that I've been kind of intimidated to read in the past. Some of these are big books, and some of these are just books for smart people or weird people. Like Big Swiss by Jen Began. I had picked up this book like a couple weeks ago. I heard that it was really funny and interesting, but then I picked it up and like I just could not get into the first chapter. So we're gonna try to read that this week, and hopefully we do better. If not, it gets DNF'd for realsies, because you know, who has time to read bad books? There's too many books to read. Big Swiss is about a girl who transcribes sessions for a sex therapist, and then I think she encounters one of these patients out in the real world, and this patient's name is Big Swiss, and that's all I know. And I hope it's a good time. I have a lot of cleaning to do today, so I am gonna sit and read the physical book a little bit, but I'm gonna try to put on the audio for a bit and see if that won't help me get into the book a little bit more, you know? We'll see what happens. Okay. I fell asleep last night while reading Big Swiss. And when I say last night, I actually mean this afternoon, because it was like 4:00 p.m. I slept 13 hours and I feel more tired than ever, which is so strange because I felt so well rested. Anyways, Big Swiss. This book is so strange. That's the only way I can describe it. It's interesting, like very interesting. It's just so strange. And then like at one point I accidentally hit play on the audio in front of my aunt, and the first thing that like played was some guy in therapy talking about how something reminded him of his ex-wife's with JJ. And now everyone's wondering, what the heck am I listening to? Anyways, yeah. It's a good time, what can I say? I'm just gonna finish it. I'm 70% through, and I feel that today is the day. I'm gonna take this bad boy on the bus with me. Ew, that was so weird. I look like a turtle. Oh, baby. I got some handbags. Hey, doll. Yesterday was a great and horrible day. What can I say? Woo! Wow, I rhymed. I'm a poet, didn't even know it. Anyways, my friend, she's my new friend. We just became friends. Turns out she's bookish too. And we got to talking about Abby Jimenez and how we both have wanted to try one of her books. So she went ahead and bought 2 copies of Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez so that we could read it together. And I think that this is real friendship. It is a beautiful start to a real friendship. And she even wrote a little note in the back. It's so cute. I'm really excited. So yeah, after that, Big Swiss kind of went out the window. We had agreed on reading 9 chapters, and I read them all on the train ride between work and home. And now I have to wait for her to catch up. Which sucks because it turns out I'm a huge fan of Abby Jimenez. This was really good and really funny and cute. But I didn't finish Big Swiss, and that's a tea. And I'm trying now. I'm back to it now. I have like 3, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, I have 3 chapters left, which is just, I was enjoying myself, but then I was enjoying this so much more, and now I don't know how I'm gonna go back to it. It's very unfortunate news. But yeah, the part of your world is about this doctor. I think she's like an emergency room doctor, Alexis, and she was away for a family funeral, and on her way home, she, like, her car gets stuck in a ditch in this like super small town, and the tow guy is at a bar drunk. So this guy Daniel, he lives in the town, he helps her out. And that's kind of their meet cute and where we're at right now. I'm assuming because it's called Part of Your World, there's gonna be some kind of like big city girl meets farm boy situation, you know? And I'm living for it. I'm living for the kid, the baby goat. I'm obsessed, actually. Immediately, I was like, I want a baby goat. And I want a baby pig. And a baby cow. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is my life dream to live on a farm? It might be. That's the tea. It is with a heavy heart that I come here to tell y'all that I have to stop reading Part of Your World. And that is because I'm buddy reading this with my new friend, and she has to catch up. She's only 2 chapters away, and I have a lot of faith in her, but I'm doing my best to keep up at her pace. So we put the book down. I finished Big Swiss. I gave it 4 stars. This book is like, I don't know how to describe it. I wasn't laughing, but it was funny. It was really funny. It just was like very strange and weird. It was a very strange and weird book, and unusual. I don't know why that made me think of that like law, where it's like cruel and unusual punishment. I don't know why I was thinking of that. Anyways, the book is definitely very dark and dry humor, but like realistic, like stuff that could actually happen. So like it's kind of spooky, scary, but also not like a horror or thriller or anything like that. It's definitely contemporary fiction. Anyways, I don't know where I'm going down with this rabbit hole. The point is that this is one of those books that was like extremely weird and kind of dark, and it's like, if you actually think about it, it's kind of dark, but very entertaining and funny, even though it's not funny. Woo, I'm just repeating myself. We're gonna move on. Highly recommend it. I'm really like thinking about, once I finish my physical TBR, I'm gonna have to look into either some more books by that author or like similar books to that, because that was a vibe. And I don't know if I've ever read anything like quite like that vibe, you know? So next book I'm going to tackle that intimidates me is To Cage a God by Elizabeth May. This is the dust jacket. I had to take off the dust jacket and because hello, how can you read a book with a dust jacket on? It's gonna get ruined. But the inside of this was white, so I put this like book cover on it, and I feel like I'm back in elementary school when I used to make my mom buy me book covers like for every subject, and like, you know, it feels like a vibe. I'm in a silly goofy mood which is very strange given that I have really bad mental health day today. Yeah, we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to dive into books and pretend that reality is just not happening. And that's my coping strategy. And it looks like To Cage a God is next. Honestly, I started this book before I was like 100 pages in, and then I kind of gave up on it because I don't want to say that I was bored. I was bored in the beginning, and then I started to get interested, and then I put the book down and forgot that I was reading it and just never came back to it. So we're just gonna pick it back up. And even though I'm intimidated by both the size and the fact that, you know, the beginning wasn't off to like the most fantabulous start, we can do it because I refuse to have any unread books on my shelf. We're gonna get this TBR down to 0. I have faith. And I don't even think I want to do it by the end of the year. I want to do it by the end of November because I started to see some really good Christmas books. There's this one book by Megan Quinn. I've never read anything by Megan Quinn, but the cover was just giving. It was like How My Neighbor Stole Christmas or something like that. And it was giving very much The Grinch, The Who's from Whoville. I don't know. I didn't read the description, but the cover was pretty. And that's how I unfortunately make my book purchases. But this one's available on Kindle Unlimited, so it doesn't count. It's free. Book math. Okay. To Cage a God. What is this book about? To Cage a God is honestly about a girl and her sister, Sarah and Galena, and they have these like gods that are basically grafted into their bones and like live inside them, and they can use their powers. And I don't really understand why, but Galena has like infiltrated the Empress. I don't know. I'm just gonna read the description. I usually don't read descriptions unless I'm like, you know, like looking into a book, but I'm just gonna read it. Okay, I read the description because I don't want to give anything away. Basically, Galena is infiltrating the palace while Sarah is on the outside, and their like country or whatever you want to call it is on the brink of war, and Sarah's lover, whatever you want to call him, he is leading the rebellion. And so according to this book jacket, Galena has to make a choice whether to expose all the lies of the Empire or bring it all down, baby. And that's the tea. I didn't give anything away. I'm proud of myself. I was actually like right on the money with what I was going to say. And I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. I will say I got book mail. I've been doing this thing where when I read 5 books off my physical TBR, I will buy a new book. This is The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. I actually already read this, so like the last few books that I have allowed myself to buy are books that I already read but didn't have in my collection. And right now, not right now, obviously, but I've been kind of on a kick in the last 2 months of trying to read and buy all of the Christina Lauren books. And I read this one on my Kindle Unlibby, I think, when I was in Miami. So I bought myself a physical copy as my reward for my 5th book. It looks a lot less intimidating in person, like a lot skinnier than when I read the ebook. I don't know, weird. Anyways, that didn't quite make me feel better, but it is time to pick my book of the month. Okay, since I finished Big Swiss today, I will say that if I finish Take Cage a God tonight, I will allow myself to get my book of the month, because then it'll cancel out. It's not going to add to my TBR because I just finished the book. So it's my game, it's my rules, it's what I'm doing. Bye. The truth is, I'm on page 276, so like pretty close to the end, I guess, like 100 pages, something like that. And I know what I'm saying, I'm bored. This is definitely fantasy that I feel like the magic system is not necessarily complicated, right? It mostly revolves around that person's like dragon or Zmeya, whatever they call him. The dragon is a god that's like literally in their bones, and sometimes they require something from the person, like if they hate them, if they don't hate their host, then they don't like really ask for anything. But it does like suck like some life force out of them or something like that. Anyways, the point is that like the actual magic system itself is not that complicated, but this is definitely one of those books where I'm reading it and I'm like, went to the and I don't understand how to pronounce any of these words. And I don't understand what's what, what's where, or why. I can mostly just decipher that things are either a person or a place. Like I can tell kind of now it is, but the pieces are not coming together. So, it's really hard to be invested when I just like don't really understand most of these things. I'm following the plot line. It's just like the locations they mention and the names, and then also every character has like 3 different names, which I'm sure is probably like a cultural thing, but it does make it very difficult to keep up sometimes. I think I'm following and like I'm able to generally figure out who's who, but the one thing that is just really bothering me about this book is it just feels really repetitive. Like certain characters have like either a certain fear or a certain motivation, and they just like every time we get to that character's point of view, they mention it again, and it makes sense because like that's their like sole focus right now, and everything's chaos, and like you have to focus on your end goal. But to just like have to hear it so many times, I just can't. And that's the tea. And I mean, this is like an almost 500-page book. I'm sure if we had taken out all those repetitions, this could have been like a 300 and something, like a normal sized novel. Anyways, I'm not finishing this today, and that's okay. There's no way that I'm the only adult that's obsessed with these things. These like mini brands balls, especially the like, not even especially, just only the plant ones. I tried the Harry Potter ones. They seem fun in theory, but I just don't like playing with all of like the, what do they call it? Like the UV glue, whatever it's called. I don't know. Anyways, it's just too much glue. But I've been obsessed with these Make It Mini Lifestyle Home series ones, and also the garden ones, because they look like little plants, and then I've been lining them up on my windowsill. Honestly, I'm just a large child. I'm just a girl. I got this one. So, I guess I'll assemble it tomorrow, because kind of sad, I'm not gonna lie. Do you wanna build a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snowman. I never see you anymore. Come out the door, it's like you've gone away. We used to be best buddies, and now we're not. I am here to tell you that I built the mini, and it came with a little bird, and I don't know a name for him yet. So I have like 3 of them already. This is the 3rd bird I get. And the birds come in these little boxes, like so the other three birds that I have are called, I don't remember what they're called, but I've been putting names on the little boxes. So let's check my bookshelf. My bookshelf has, like, there've been developments. Okay. So, like, inside this little corner, I now have this, like, mini library inside the bookshelf. This is kind of my knick-knack corner, so just ignore that. But anyways, this is the mini corner. So I have all of the little, like, supplies that come with the Harry Potter ones here. And it's, like, my Harry Potter shelf. And you get your little glasses. Anyway, so, these bookshelves, I've been saving, like, all the cute little parts of, like, these. Like, come on now. Tell me that's not so cute. It's like a little gallon. I'm obsessed. Okay. And I have a little Zen garden. Okay, so these are the little birds. So I have Cheeky, Chirpy, and Chicky. So that's where we're at. And I don't know if these are things that only I care about, but I've been obsessed with these. And now this bird needs a name to go on his little box. And I can't think of another, you know, like CH name. If you have any ideas, leave them in the comments, because your girl needs help. And that's the tea on how I am a grown adult in my 30s who plays with toys and names them. Anyways, back to the reading, because I have literally done, like, no reading this week, I feel. I read one book, which was Big Swiss, and that's, like, it feels like forever ago. It's already Friday. Also, my mental health has been kind of in the toilet because we just had a loss in the family. And, you know, it's kind of hard to stay focused on, like, the reading when your brain is somewhere else. But that's okay. I think that I'm going to pick up Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune instead of To Cage a God, even though I have like 100 pages left in that book, but I just, like, I'm not feeling it. It's a softie enough though. Okay, I'm gonna finish this book in this video. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day of the vlogging vlog. And I'm babysitting my nephew. So I'm really excited for that. But Somewhere Beyond the Sea is the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea, which is one of my favorite books of all time. It is literally so phenomenal. Chef's kiss. Basically, this is one of, like, 3 editions of this book that I ordered. I'm just a girl. What is The House in the Cerulean Sea about? Basically, my friend Linus Baker, who, according to the very first chapter of this book, shares a birthday with me. Jewel babies! Anyways, so Linus Baker, he works at the department in charge of magical youths, and he gets summoned by extremely upper management, which I think is hilarious. EUM calls him up, and they're basically like, we need you to go investigate. So he's like a caseworker or something, and he goes to like orphanages for, like, magical youths, and he checks them out to see if they are, you know, can continue being open, just make sure they're following, like, all the regulations, blah blah blah. He's basically like an inspector, I guess, but I don't think anyone actually called him an inspector throughout the book. So he is called to, like, this super top secret orphanage where they are keeping the most dangerous magical youth. And we get there, and it was just like, it was such a beautiful book, and the characters are so heartwarming. I love them. I love the vibes of that book. I am obsessed with Linus Baker. I think it's also kind of really hilarious, like, the fact that they just call, like, the governing board of this company extremely upper management is quite hilarious to me. And it was a great time. So I'm hoping this will be a great time too. I feel like I'm gonna eat this up, hopefully, because I did try to read Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. Did not enjoy it. I also I wouldn't say I tried to read the In the Lives of Puppets, but definitely like have been toying with the idea of picking it up. Now I ordered all 4 books of his in like special edition with like these like pretty sprayed edges. Not these. I'm gonna get another copy of this same book. So now I'm gonna have to read them, but The House in the Cerulean Sea is definitely my favorite, and I'm hoping this one will be just as good. And I'm gonna stop yippity yapping and read it. All right, taking y'all on a little field trip because I am gonna go babysit my nephew. I finished Somewhere Beyond the Sea. I decided that I'm gonna give this 3.5 stars, and I will round up to 4 on Goodreads. It just like, it wasn't words. Hello. I guess the thing is that I gave The House in the Cerulean Sea 5 stars, and it's one of my favorite books. And so I had really, really high expectations and standards for this book because it follows some of like my favorite characters of all time. They were still like cute and charming. I just think they weren't as funny as they were in the first book. There were definitely some moments where I chuckled out loud. Like it was just very cute, but I don't know, even just like the resolution to the problem in this book, I felt like wasn't a real resolution. There was also like several parts in the book where I'm like, yo, how are you getting away with this? Like, you admitted in court to doing something illegal and you're just Gucci. Like, make it make sense. You know what I mean? So that's the tea. I still did really like this book, and I do recommend you reading it. I think it is very wholesome, like heartwarming, and I love these characters. They're like the best, even the new one. So that's that. Next, I shall read The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle, and this is a new book that has just come out. It is honestly, I don't know what it's about. It says, in a deadly game of revenge, the most dangerous mistake of all is falling in love. That doesn't sound great. Anyways, it's a romantasy. I know that much. Oh, okay. So basically this is about, there's like something called shade magic. I don't know what that is yet, but it's very scarce, and the like world of magic is controlled by 2 different guilds. One of them is the cloaks and one of them is the daggers. So Seraphine, she is a runaway. She is taking like a refuge with the cloaks. And then there's this other dude. This dude's name is Ransom, and Ransom is the heir for the daggers. So obviously, they're not supposed to like each other. They are like opposing guilds, and he discovers like something magical in her, and then I guess the romance ensues. That's what I'm assuming, because it's a romantasy. That's the tea. So we'll read this. I'm gonna go babysit my nephew. I'm really happy because this looks like it has short chapters, which is phenomenal. Chef's kiss. And because it has short chapters, I'm hopeful that I can finish this today. And today's the last day of this vloggy vlog. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more exciting, to be honest with you. I had actually gotten tickets. I have like literally the tickets right in front of me to Comic-Con. And I couldn't go because of the funeral and all that. So that's very unfortunate. But the good thing is I do have a ticket left for Sunday. So Sunday I'm hoping to go, which is tomorrow. I was looking in online to see like what sessions I wanted to go to. And I think I want to go to one in the morning where they teach you how to play Dungeons and Dragons. I've always wanted to play. I have this game. It's called Munchkin. It's supposed to be like a parody of Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm obsessed with that game. It is literally so hilarious. So I'm hoping to be my nerdiest self tomorrow and do that. And that's the tea. Let's hope it happens. Woohoo, woohoo. The tea is, it is Sunday, and I yesterday thought I was going to read this book, The Dagger and the Flame, but what had happened was I forgot to take To Cage a God out of my backpack and put this one in instead. So I was walking around all day with To Cage a God. I did read a few chapters. I just, like, I hate it. I'm having a horrible, horrible time. And I realized that I don't want to be reading that book. So, I don't know. I'm just like, ugh, I have less than 100 pages left. I should just finish it, right? Like, there's like 60 something chapters and I'm on like 52. But like, it just, I don't know. I wasn't hating it until I started to force myself to read it. And now I'm like, I hate this because, it's dragging. I just want it to be over. So, I don't know what we're going to do about that book. And I definitely didn't read this one, but you'll see it in next week's vloggy vlog. And that's the tea, y'all. What can we do, right? Editing me here from the future to tell you guys my final thoughts on To Cage a God. So I finished it yesterday, which is like 2 weeks from the time that I filmed this video. It literally took me 2 weeks to read like 150 pages because like the only way I could get myself through that book was to just like every day I would be like, today's the day I'm gonna read it, and then I would read like 3 or 4 chapters until I just couldn't stand it anymore, and then I put it away. So that's how I got through that book. And I only got through it because I refuse to have books on my shelves that I haven't read. But this one's too pretty to give away. But so the thing is, when I started To Cage a God, I was like, I'm not really feeling it. I also, as you probably know if you've been around, do not read the descriptions of books, like the back of the book, if I already own it. And this was like a subscription box book, so I didn't read the description ever. Anyways, by the time we got to like the actual premise of the book, which is like the characters kind of planning to infiltrate the Empress's like palace or whatever, that was like around chapter 6. That's when I started to actually get interested in the story because I'm like, oh, something is going on here, like a revolution and whatever. However, I think probably like maybe like 60% through the book, I kind of was like, I don't care anymore. And a lot of it had to do with like the way that like some of the like romance aspects and pining happened. I just like was incredibly just not invested in any of the romances. I found them to be actually kind of annoying, to be honest. There was one reveal that I was like, oh, that was unexpected. But other than that, I just did not care. And that's the tea. So I ended up giving To Cage a God 2 stars, which I think is generous. But we're going to leave it there because I did enjoy like some parts of it. And that's all I have to say. So we'll go back to past me, who looked cute and had her life together. Because I look crazy today. Okay. I am headed to Comic-Con, so it's been nice knowing you. If you enjoyed this video, I don't even want to give you an emoji because I feel like there was something that I needed you to tell me. The bird name. The bird's name. Leave me a suggested name for my little bird and a bird emoji if you made it this far. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you want to join the family, hit that subscribe button. I will see you all when I see you next. Bye. What you licking my toes for? What you licking my toes for?